In this part of the vision process, we want to look at personality profile, and we want to learn about you and your personality profile so we can communicate with you the most optimally possible. We also want you to understand more about why you do what you do, why you operate the way you are, why you communicate the way you do. First thing to understand about personality profiles is there is no right or wrong. This is not a moral discussion. And I would offer of the four main quadrants, everybody has a little piece of all of the four quadrants in them. However, you have one main quadrant that is your primary signature for how it is that you communicate, how your personality likes to interact with other human beings on planet Earth. This will be influenced by a strong secondary portion, which will have its own certain characteristics and ways of being that will influence the primary. So let me be more exact. We've got the four main quadrants that we use in the ICS, which is starting on the top left, we have analyticals, we have on the top right drivers, the bottom right we have the expressives, and on the bottom left we have amiables. Now, all of the different ones that are out there, and there's lots out there, you guys, disc and colors and animals and all kinds of things, but they all basically break into a four quadrant scale. And that four quadrant scale on the X and Y axis, on the horizontal or the X axis, it is the ask-tell axis. So how ask or how tell assertive you are in terms of your communication. Are you asking people for things or are you telling them what to do in general? On the y-axis at the top, it's people that share little emotion, and at the bottom is people who share a lot of emotion. Again, let's not moralize this. This is not right or wrong, good or bad. It's just a way to communicate, and it's just different, okay? So on the top right, we have probably the smallest cohort, depends who you read. This is in the 10 to 15% range usually. These are the drivers. Drivers are really like bottom line people. You'll hear them say that in their language a lot. The bottom line is, right? So if you look at the X and Y axis, they don't tend to share a whole lot of emotion. They also tend to be very, very direct, okay? Drivers are the go-get-em kind of people. A lot of them are type A personalities. They love to accomplish things. They're very goal and very task-focused. Again, they don't like to sit still very much. Once they get onto a task, man, they're just like a laser beam. They want to get it done. The sharp side to the sword to being a driver is that you kind of forget that there's other human beings on the planet. You tend to forget that there's relationships out there that are really, really important, okay? So again, not a right or a wrong thing, not a good or a bad thing, just a different way of communicating and in terms of processing information. On the bottom right-hand side, we have the expressives or the otters, okay? And the expressives and the otters, these are the people who like to have a lot of fun. They tend to be very assertive, so they're very storytelling oriented, right? They talk a lot, they talk with their hands, like me. They also tend to be a lot more expressive than, say, drivers would be relative to that side of the metric. They're a lot of fun, they're life of the party, they like to have they're very creative, they have a lot of ideas. The sharp side to being otters, though, is that they follow through sucks, right? So again, lots of ideas, not necessarily great follow through, all right? On the bottom left, we have the amiables. And the amiables are those people that everybody just loves to spend time with because they're just such nice people. They're very expressive, but they're very gentle. They're very sort of passive. They're very, very slow to make decisions. I know this because I have several of them in my family. And the reason they're slow to make decisions is because they're so worried about what everybody else thinks and what's important for everybody else. They hate confrontation. They like people to get along. They're very, very loyal. When you do the animal version of the ICS, basically what you come up with here is these are golden retrievers. So if you can get that image in your head of a really gentle, passive, friendly golden retriever, that's where the amiables tend to be. They're very interactive. They really love people. They're very people-oriented. And they're cross-quadrant from the drivers because they're less task-focused and more people or relationship-focused. Top left are analyticals, and analyticals are those people, again, don't tend to share a lot of emotion, and they ask a lot of questions. They are the question askers of the world. They want to know why. That's basically their mantra. They want to know why things are the way they are, and they love to get involved in a really deep problem and get to resolutions. They hate not knowing the answer. So they're often slow to make decisions, but for different reasons than the amiables, they're slow to make decisions because how could you possibly have enough information to give an appropriate answer? But I tell you something, if they do give you an answer, you can pretty much bank on it being bang on, okay? So again, analyticals, they make great accountants, they make great engineers, they love to task and problem solve that way. They're not necessarily the warmest and fuzziest people on planet Earth, and again, as I said, slow to make decisions. So let's be clear. It's not a moral discussion we're having. This is just a way of processing information. It's a fun thing. I encourage you, once you learn about yourself, and there are supporting documents that'll be coming either in this module or other modules to help you really own this stuff. Work out these questionnaires with your family, do it with your team, and practice communicating, because these are like 4 different languages, okay? And it's like, Greek, Chinese, Italian, and Hebrew. And so learning to speak someone else's language is really important, and I think very becoming, speaks largely to the value you put into the relationship. So learning other people's ways of communicating can really enhance team momentum, can really enhance family harmony. I know it made a huge difference in our family when we got this sorted out and realized there's just different ways of communicating, and learn to speak that person's language. So again, personality profiling. Have some fun with it.